We are live. Okay. Let me just quickly make sure. Yep. Okay. We are in fact live. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on our little Pygame project, which I have yet to open. Let's see. Okay. There, let me just show this to you real quick. Yep, 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 okay, there we go. So this is our project here. And after the last stream of this, of Pygame days, I realized that we have a stupid brain. Basically, what I should actually do is I should add all of the points into a list and update all the points with a for loop by calling the point to update function on each of them. Just make sure that you can see the game itself as well when I test it. Pygame window? Please? Can you please show it? No? Okay. Pygame window. Show. Okay, there we go. So this is a Pac-Man clone, right? And when the player runs into a, like, I don't know, it's gonna be probably some sort of ring. We're gonna mix Sonic the Hedgehog with Pac-Man here. Actually, that's pretty fitting because the main character is blue. But I was also thinking we should probably have a separate a separate game object class. Because currently we have this entity class here which inherits, why does it inherit that? Yeah, we don't need to inherit the sprite. This is just for drawn. What are you saying? Block comment should start with. Okay, you don't see what it's complaining about, but it's saying that block comment should start with hashtag. Okay, what is it starting with? It's exactly that. Okay, so it just wanted a space there. Wow. Okay. So the entity class here is good and all, but I kinda wanna switch it out for a game object class, and we'll also want to have a game objects list. I'm gonna make sure that it should be a list. I don't think it should be a... I don't think it should be like a set, because isn't set... Yeah, set items are unchangeable. Actually, we probably don't need to change the items once they've been added. It's definitely not going to be a tuple though. Is it? They allow duplicate items. Duplicate what? Duplicate values. A list would be ordered changeable and allow duplicate items. Whoops. did I press? Okay. Tuples are ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate. We'll use a list. So first of all, we're gonna write a game objects list like so, and we're gonna make a class called game object, and this is what everything is going to extend or inherit. So we're going to define the lovely init function, and this won't need the super.init. In fact, why does this have the super.init? We we don't need that. What we will need is the update function. Then comes the question of wow, hang on. What exactly will we want to make the game object do? Because there's something that all the objects would share, right? And that would be that they are added to the game objects list when they are created. So game objects dot append, yes, self, which will refer to the current instance of the object. Let me just put on some music. Little Nightmares 3 is apparently coming out, or has it? No, I don't. I feel like I would have heard of it if it had already been released. Right. That's what we're gonna listen to. That. Not we, I. Because this is very much big copyright here. See, I'm actually doing you a favor. I'm not playing any music on my stream, so you can play your own music. Yeah. Let me just make sure that I'm not accidentally screwing myself over. Okay. Now we have the main game object class, and we're going to also change up the entity. We're definitely going to change it up for something else. I definitely also want to have a class which has the collision in it. Okay, for that then we're going to need another list. So we would have a collision object. We would have what's the game object exactly gonna be? Well, let's think about this. So a game object would be literally anything. It would be any wall that you can collide with. It would be any UI object. It would be the player. It would be any enemies. It would be points. It needs to be anything. So it shouldn't probably in itself have the collision functionality, but we could do that. We could add a function into the game object class. So def collisions. And then what we do is we call this to check for any collisions, and we pass this the rectangle, and we want to check collisions with anything and then return the object that collided. So we would have to store every collision object in a list. Okay. Let me just look at the collide object and such. That's not it. Collide list, I meant. Collide list. Test if one rectangle in a list intersects. Collide list all. Test if all rectangles in a list intersect. Test if any object in a list intersects. If any object in a list intersects. Collide object all. Test if all objects in a list intersect. Collide dict contains collide point. Okay. So we would need most definitely a list of collision objects. I don't know why I'm making this so advanced, but I suppose it's good for learning. Like, this is gonna take the object. We're gonna get a collision index called object dot. Wait, hang on. Called object. Oh, hang on. Yes. Let me think about this. So if we were to do that in here, we would call the collisions function, which would basically do this. So we would pass it to self.rect. So self.rect. Wait, hang on. Ooh. Rect. There. So we're storing the rect in here. Self.image get rect. Update. Rect. Reckety rect. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. We can actually make this a whole lot smaller. There. I'm gonna just pass on this right now and see what I have broken thus far. Okay, I haven't broken anything. Good. I'm just thinking, is this actually worth it? I mean, if everything is going to inherit this, if everything is going to extend inherit. I think it's inherit, yeah. If everything is going to inherit this, or extend, whatever you want to call it, then we should probably have this, because then we could basically make any object either collidable or not collidable. We're gonna make that lowercase, whatever. I suppose then we should have all the data stored in the game objects and some booleans as well for things like what? Let me check here. So this would take an image, a rotation, flip, position. That has a speed as well. And something like a speed would be specific to something like the player class. But like entity currently is basically what the game object is going to end up being. But we're gonna do self dot we're gonna end up storing a lot of data that we don't necessarily need. If we give this the game object class like data of the collisions and like position and such, is everything going to have a position? Is everything going to have a rotation? Is what I need to ask. For my case, I'd probably have another class called collision object, which extends the game object or inherits. And sorry, complaining about. What are you complaining? Redeclared collision object without above defined above without use. Redeclared collision object defined above without usage. Heh. That. Oh, that's supposed to be collision objects. Okay, so this would be a collision object, which would have data of position, rotation, and collisions. What if we want to have a UI element which doesn't have any data on collisions? Or we would make another class which has just a position, which would be a position object. I am making this far too complicated. But I mean, like, position object then would have all the data on the but it's complaining about something. Oh, that should be fine. Then we'd have self rotation 0, self dot position 0, self dot alt position 0, self dot alt rotation 0. And I realized that position should actually be a vector 2, which is going to be Pygame dot vector 2 0 0. It is complaining about something. Call to init of superclass is missed. What the hell? Oh. That's why. Then we'd have self dot y flipped false, self dot x flipped false, self dot oh sweet Jesus, we're going to have to have old flip as well to store the previous flip. Oh. How about we do self alt data? Because I don't know any better way of doing it. On how did dictionaries in Python go again? Was it yeah, okay, it's the same as set, but like this old nation. Actually, we don't need to have old in here, we can just have rotation 0, position that whoopsie. Y flipped x flipped false. Do we need something else? We're gonna need the image. We're gonna need self.image. None. Self.image path. Actually, I had the image path there in case I wanted to change the image. It died. Oh, goodness gracious. But we need to store the images somewhere after they're loaded. Can we please just loop through all the different images in the image folder and load them at the start of the game? That would really help. And that's basically what we're already doing. But I want to just like have a list of them ready so we can load them easily and quickly. So how would we go about that then? Where's the file handling? File handling there. Oh, let me guess. Yeah, that's not going to help me. Okay. Hold on. Os.scan there. We need to... Does Pygame have something like that? Pygame dot image. I'm gonna see if we can load extended, save extended. That doesn't help us. Dot draw sprite display color key ka, yeah. Key event mouse base buffer proxy. You can't see this, but I'm reading the suggestions. Constant cursors, fast event, mixer music, pixel copy, scrap. Ooh, I don't think it has anything like that. Dot scan there. Okay, what we're gonna do then is print os.scan there path. I'm hoping that it'll accept our asset slash image. Let's see. What? There. Render iterator object. Okay. That's interesting. Or I. Jesus Christ. But no, shut up. Oh, oh, damn! It actually seems to work. This dir stat inode is file. file. There, okay. Is there dot name dot path? Oh my! We can actually have a full thing of them. Holy crap! I mean, I'm gonna have to move my I'm gonna have to move my Sprite files out of there, or I could technically speaking just check the file extension. This probably doesn't give me that straight away, does it? Node link inode stat. But we can print the name, which would be okay. That works surprisingly well. So, how would I exclude anything that's not a PNG? Because all images will be PNGs. We'll have to use some string manipulation. What's the gsub? Would that be gsub? String formatting, perhaps? I don't know, man. I haven't done much with strings yet. Where's all my string methods there? Capitalize, case fold, center, count, encode, ends with, expand tabs, find, format, index is alpha, is a C, is decimal, and blah 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 blah. Spaces title is upper. Join, strip, partition, replace, huh? Our find, our index are just split. I mean, we could use split. Where's R split then? I mean, we can just do name extension equals I dot name dot split period print name. Actually, we can do practice my Python string manipulation a little, or string formatting rather. We can do maybe we won't do. How about we don't do? Hold on, where's the strings here? String. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yep. 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 Yes. Okay. Format strings. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, it should work, but I'm not gonna do it. Let's see then. Yep, Okay, now we actually get extension as well. Cool. If extension equals PNG, then we are going to insert, we're going to load it. Load it, images. And we're gonna toss it into our loaded images. So we're just gonna do pygame.image.load. And it's gonna want our little path then, which is going to happen with i.path. And we're going to insert it, we're going to append it, so loaded images dot append. Then we're gonna print appended at format that should work. So name and loaded images dot len. Or actually that's gonna let's do that. Okay. So player 1 appended at 1, and then those are actually usable. So I can, technically speaking, just pass this an asset name then, and find it from the loaded images list. I don't know how efficient this actually is, but it's good. Actually, I don't know if it is good. Placeholder loaded at 0, player 1 loaded at 1, player 2 loaded at 2. Okay. That seems to be good then. This we're going to remove. All right. Oh. So then we can pretty much have image and old image. So we can add the image there and the old image in here. And this is going to be a placeholder. We should be able to find it with the name. Should we? Should we? Why? Loaded images dot insert, sort, reverse, copy, clear, pop, index placeholder. Oh dear lord. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna loop through it then for I in loaded images. Print I. Well, it returns a surface. No identifiers for them though, so that tells me that I should probably add them into that by name. And make it a dictionary. Dear Lord. Okay. Whoa there. So we're gonna do loaded images. The name equals pygame.image.load. No. I.path. Now should give us both I and V, and it does not. List. Right, it's a list. For IV, of course. Because I and V, that wouldn't work in Python, I would. Now we're printing player 1, player 2, and placeholder. So now we should be able to print loaded images, placeholder. Perfect, and it returns us the surface. Okay. Right. So now that we have that sorted, now that we have a flexible image loader system, I'm just saying words to sound smart and still be dumb. Oh, goodness. Okay. On init, the old data should be actually assigned, but this shouldn't require all of the data. That's a position object. Yeah, that's a position object. That's fine. We can have that. Yes. Okay. Now, a position object is going to be extended by the collision object, and the collision object will check for collision, and the collision object will be what we'll use for the players and enemies and walls. What about... Wait, actually, maybe we don't need to have the walls be collision objects? I don't know yet. Let's first get this new, like, freaking position object system done. Game objects append self. I'm gonna not do anything about that. Okay. So this has that. Let's remember this needs to... Wait. We'll give this a velocity. Self.velocity equals that pygame.vector to 0 and 0. Now the velocity is going to be the thing that's applied to it every second, and let's remember that it needs an update. I don't know if we'd want to do it like that or if we'd want to do it like this. We'll do it like that. Okay, so here then we'll want to apply all the new data. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, Lord. Flip. Self.image pygame.transform flip. So rotation difference, self-door rotation. I think we might have to do the tile map system next stream because this is gonna take a while. Oh man, why did I want to implement this whole system? To flip. If self-door flip. Rotation difference equal. Okay. Well, the simplest is to do the, wait, remove that and that. And so self elf, not elf. We don't have elves here. Self dot position plus equals self dot velocity. The velocity is always the easiest one to do. Then the more difficult ones are the rotation, the flipping, and well, I mean, the actually updating the rectangle is fairly simple. We can just do that when we plate the image onto the screen. That way we can actually have collision. Right. Actually, I just thought about something. What happens if we have a sprite which is smaller? No, that's the wrong thing. I just opened up settings. Right, we can't even open it through the sprite. Sprite. I don't know yet if we're going to stream tomorrow, but the next stream would be on the Marshmallow Speedrunner game again, because I have a lot of ideas for it, and I also learned a lot from the last stream, including that a game does not need to be unique in order to be fun. I know it sounds obvious, but look, it's not obvious to me, okay? 16 by 16. I don't think we'll make this 16 by 16. We'll make this 8 by 8 to test out how this exactly would go. I know you can't see this right now, but I'm just quickly gonna make an image. Nothing too fancy. Meanwhile, making a piece of art. No. Yeah, nothing too fancy. Not in Marshmallow Platformer. Not there. I have a separate folder for Pygame, don't I? Pygame. Pac-Man game. Assets. Image. And we're going to call this not sprite 1. We're going to call this point. Okay. Now we should have a new thing called point. And we can see point, kill self point. Currently, I'm pretty sure we're not passing anything into the entity. So we want to just replace that with the point.png. Actually, we're gonna have... No, we don't have to do anything. We're gonna see... Okay, it draws it. Oh, it actually draws it properly. It's actually good size, huh? Now, I would assume that if it's not just a rectangle, which the new image is, I'm gonna show you. It's just a small... Wow, that is a lot smaller than I thought. How big did I actually make this? Let me export this as 2 times the size. I think the main character might be like 32 by 32. Yeah, it definitely is. So that little point there, that's now 16 by 16 pixels, and oh god. And the rectangle actually matches it. However, if we have something that's not a rectangle and instead is a box, not a box, what am I talking about? If it's instead a circle, I'm gonna try and see and try. We're gonna modify the point image a bit. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna erase the entire point image and make a new one. This is just for testing, to see how this then looks. Yeah, I mean it sure is a point. But if we enable that, it's gonna draw. Yep. Okay. That proves it. So it's still obviously the rectangle is a rectangle. Oh god. The rectangle is a rectangle? Who would have guessed? Wait, hang on now. It's okay. The entire collision system is based on rectangles, right? There is more accurate sprite collisions. I'm gonna have to look at those. Sprite. Sprite collide. Find sprites in a group that intersect another sprite. Okay, so how does that work then? How do you make a group first of all? See if the sprite block has collided with anything in the group block list. Okay, what is a group then? Huh? Oh lord, okay. No, where did I go? I went into the news somehow? No. Group. Pygame.sprite.group. Okay. a simple container for sprite objects. So this class can be inherited to create containers with more specific behaviors. The constructor takes any number of sprite arguments to add to the group. Okay, so if you want to group a bunch of sprites, you would just do on one of the sprites, sprite.group, and then all the sprites you want to group together. Should I be using sprites? The sprites in the group are ordered only on Python 3.6 and higher. Below Python 3.6, I think I'm using Python 3.6. Drawing and iterating over the sprites is in no particular order. Okay. So how do I use the sprite objects then? What exactly is the big difference between sprites and images in Pygame? So Pygame.sprite.sprites is a simple base class for visible game objects. So what's it capable of then? It has the methods called sprite.update, sprite.add, sprite.remove. Add and remove are about groups. Kill is about groups. Alive is groups. The default implementation of this method does nothing. It's just a convenient hook that you can override. This method is called by group.update with whatever arguments you give it. There is no need to use this method if not using the convenience method by the same name in the group class. So basically a sprite does nothing on its own. Well, what about sprite collide then? Pygame.sprite collide. No. Why did I say dot there? Pygame sprite collide. How to use sprite collide in Pygame from 2013. Let's hope this isn't outdated at all. I feel like we went at least a couple versions up in Python. Oh goodness. 2.7? Oh lord. So let's see, Stack Overflow. Check collision. Call Pygame.sprite collide rect. But that uses the collide that still uses collide rect. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. Sprite, collided sprites, Pygame.sprite, sprite collide, sprite 1, sprite group, true. So should we make everything that's visible extend the sprite class so that we can have the groups. But how accurate is that gonna be? I'm just not going to worry about this. I'm gonna worry about accurate collisions later. Because for now we're just gonna have rectangles. We're not gonna worry about that. I'm also gonna have to change that point texture, but I'll change it a bit later. Screw off with that warning. So first of all, we need to update this position here. Then we need to also update hold on, this actually matters. Old position. Why did I store old position? We don't need to store old position. Yeah, we don't need to store old position. Also, currently this is very unoptimized in that if the game is running slower on some machine, it might... Oh, hang on. That could have been very bad. Yeah, position is not needed. Rotation is. X flip, Y flip, all of those are needed. Now we're gonna implement this here. Or just copy it. If self.x flipped not equal to self.old data. Actually, I'm gonna make oh, for the love of Christ. Self.old data. Then we can just check the old data dot x flipped. It's not even gonna be dot, it'll have to be I almost feel like making just the class for all of these alone. That would be so much nicer than a dictionary. Oh no. I'm gonna end up writing a million classes if I keep going at this. Ah. Right, we don't need any of that. It's not going to inherit anything, and it's just gonna have a def in it. Oh. I don't know if... Hang on. Set it rotation. Soft rotation position. I wouldn't have like old data, because the old data would be basically a copy of all of these, but from the previous frame. So what we would do is this. So I would have a rotation, a position, and we would we would dot post data. So if we do that, I'm just testing, okay? I'm probably gonna end up scrapping this whole idea. But I'm pretty... Wait, I shouldn't do that. That's not something I should do. Now I should be able to assign these values independently. And do what? But no, we're not gonna do that. I have decided we are not going to do it. We're instead gonna use the dictionary. We're not even gonna use that. We're just gonna use self.old data. There. Then we'll do the same with yflip. Although I'm sure that this is going to end up in a lot of bugs and pain. Self.image Pygame transform flip 0 and flip 1. Old data yflip self.yflip. Old data yflipped equals self data self.yflip self data. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. Okay, then what we do is... Oh, shut up. Okay, Jesus Christ, can I have some peace and quiet? Nope. Okay, rotation. What am I doing here? We need the rotation difference. Right. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool, great, cool, okay. Let's do that. Thanks. So rotation difference would be the current rotation minus the old rotation. Now self dot rotation minus self dot old data rotation. -1 if oh god, how am I gonna do the logic for this? Oh no. Fine, we're gonna do rotive self, no, rotive times equals -1. This is gonna go so wrong. Because now that we have the Y flip, we're gonna have to take that into consideration. So if they are flipped on X, we want to multiply the rotation difference by -1. Well, if they're flipped on both the Y and the X, that would mean that they are both backwards and upside down. Why would we ever make a sprite upside down? I don't actually know. But if they're upside down, oh god. I have an idea. I should be able to just do this. That's not gonna be ever. That's not gonna be ever silenced. I'm gonna just leave it like that. Okay. If this fixes our problems, then good. If it doesn't, then but we're gonna try it. So self.image equals Pygame.transform.rotate self.image rotdiff. It might work. Self.update the rotation equals rotation. No, self.rotation. Then self.position, that's already done. That's first applied actually, and then we want to update the rectangle. So self.rect. We're not storing the rectangle. We need to store the rectangle. Self.rect. Oh, right. I was thinking about that. Do we want to store the rectangle? I don't have much water left. We're gonna go on break soon. That's been in that bowl for many hours. Okay, so do we want to store the rectangle in the position object? I think we do, because it already has the rectangle. So why not use it? Yeah. So I feel like we're probably gonna end up removing the collision object and instead use the position object as the base for everything, and we're probably going to use the game object. We're probably going to remove the game object, and we're going to just make this like the game object. Then we can call a collision function if needed. So we're gonna do self.getRect. No, self.image.getRect. Get rect. We're never assigning. Yeah, I know. We aren't actually assigning it. Image Pygame image load. Image loaded images. Loaded images. Placeholder. I'm surprised that it's able to actually access that without complaining. Like, it complained about the point, so I had to make it a global. I don't know why it complained about the points, actually. Maybe it's because we were assigning the points and not just reading it. But we weren't even able to read it without it complaining. So So we want to do self.rect.update. Now we do split, so pygame.image. No, yes, we do screen.split. We want to split it onto the screen, split the image onto the screen, so that would how do dida do? Self.image, self.position. Okay. It's self.position. Okay, that seems like the entire position object done, which it is just a prettier version of this basically. It also doesn't take anything in the init currently, which that we might want to change that or not. We could just assign the properties after the creation. But we'll see. So this is the update that's going to be called every flip-flop. Every flip-flop, yeah. Collision objects, right. For the collision objects, then we'd want to do what we're doing here. Yeah, that can shot. So for the collision objects, we want to do exactly this. We're gonna do def collides self and we'll do, well, in fact, we want to insert the rectangle into the collision objects list if we actually want to check for collisions. So technically speaking, we could give this a boolean called has collisions, and that way we can know whether or not we should put it into the collision. Okay, that could work. So if has collisions true 10, we'll default it to false. No, if not, oh, for the love of Christ, self dot has collisions equals has collisions. If if has collisions true, then God, Jesus Christ, collision objects dot append self direct or self. Jesus. I mean, it needs to be dead, but how, like, we can do this, we will do this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Self direct dot index equals self rect dot collide list collision objects if collision index collision object equals cold target. Let's call it a cold target equals collision in portal lava cry. Stop complaining. I am not used to snake case. I don't like it. I don't like snake case. Collision objects, collision index. Whew. Okay. Target collision objects. Collision object is there. Now, is it possible to get the owner of a rectangle by any chance? Or am I going to have to store that somewhere else? Can I do collide dict? What exactly would collide dict do? It would use a dictionary instead of a list. I'm currently looking at the sprite collide. Okay. Collide dict. How was that the first result? Test if one rectangle in a dictionary intersects. Which one does it check? Does it check for the value or the key? Like if the key is equal to the rectangle, does it check for the key or what? Returns the first key and value pair that intersects with the calling rect object. If no collisions are found, none is returned. If use values is 0 default, then the dict keys will be used into collision detection. Oh, okay. So it'll you can basically just decide for it. Which one would be easier? If use values is 0, dict use values 0. Why if you set it to 1? Rect objects cannot be used as keys in a dictionary. What? So they must be converted to a tuple. Okay, so can I assign it 1 then? Can I set use values to 1 so it'll use the rectangle values? Because that would be awfully convenient for me. We'll have to do this, and we won't append it because append cannot be called on a dictionary. Or rather, yep, exactly. So collision objects. Oh, Jesus. Oh, what are we gonna call this? We can call it self. What's that gonna return though? If I make the key self, what's the key going to actually be then? We'll just have to try and see. Hello, buddy. How are you doing? May I know? I'm trying. Well, I'm making a game in Pygame. It's currently, if I just I just pass that. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm gonna run this. So it's basically just a Pac-Man clone, but it's made entirely using Python. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this to learn Python mainly. And it's also fun to make a game in different languages and frameworks for me. Collision objects. Right. So collision object self equals. Let me remove that. Equals self.rect. Then this will be the collision checking. So self.rect collide dict, and it takes the dictionary, which is collision objects, and 1. Oh god. Oh goodness. What? Okay, let's see then. Okay then. That's gonna make things a whole lot more difficult then. Okay. I thought I could possibly maybe get away with setting the values to the rectangles. Because that would just be convenient for me. What is collide objects then? Test if any object in a list intersects, and what's the object then? Test whether the rectangle collides with any object in the sequence. Huh? If no collisions are found, then none is returned. If key is given, then it should be a method taking an object from the list as an input and returning a rect. Okay, no, I'm not gonna play around with that. Also, it's a experimental feature. What I could do, just hang on. So collide dict takes oh god, okay, so I'm gonna have to convert the rectangle into a tuple. Okay, let me look at this a bit more. If we have this be 1, then what does this want? Dictionary. I don't have a clue what any of that means. Okay. In that case, we'll have to do this. It would make more sense to assign collision objects self to self.rect, which is the rectangle of the object. But also it could be that it's complaining because the dictionary is by default empty. We'll have to try some things and see then. Yeah, it still does complain. So we'll have to just try it. And also collision index, what does it actually return? It either returns the key value pair, which is a tuple, right? Can you make me understand in simple words, please? All going above my head. Okay. Oh god, I am not great at explaining. But basically, what I'm right now trying to accomplish is this is an object. This is going to be like a general game object, and this here is supposed to detect collisions between this object and any other object. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Gosh. We'll just see if it works in a moment. Collision index, collision pair. Now the pair then, the key value pair is exactly as it sounds. It's a pair of a key and a value. There's a thing that is assigned to another thing. Now we're gonna do... We'll just have to print... We'll have to print that. I've been going too long without actually trying any of this. But this should be able to replace our old entity class. Yes. Okay. Then we're going to have to extend image path. We're not gonna give it anything, and we're not gonna give this anything, and we're not gonna give this anything, and we're gonna make this extend position object as it's currently called, and we're not gonna have this be anything. Oh lord. This is getting messy now. Position object. You know what? Let's just run it. See what happens. Ah, exactly as expected. That still functions because I didn't change any of the collisions. But I need to give the player now the image again. So self.image equals player dot png. And we have an error. Of course. Of course. Okay, so we want to actually do loaded images player.png. No. Player 1. Because there's two frame. Okay. Well, then what's going wrong? Loaded images placeholder. Loaded images placeholder. Yeah, okay. It doesn't need to be PNG. Okay, now we actually have the player and it does not flip. It's... Actually, I think that's normal. So the image is currently not able to flip. Oh, thank you. Right. So this should be X flipped through rotation. So I changed the way the flipping of the player works, or any image. Okay, now they're actually able to flip. Now this is a much better system than what I had previously. It does the same thing, but it does it better. I don't know why I rewrote any of this. That's not supposed to have spaces. All right, that appends that to the list. Let me just do... we don't want to update every game object individually. So what we're going to do is we're going to instead loop through the game objects list, and we're going to call the update method on all of them. That should work. And it does work. It does not. It does, but it does not. And that would be... Why would that be? Did I get an error? I didn't. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, it's like that is no longer there. Oh, now I know why it is. Okay, so it's still rendering it. Because I didn't actually change up this in any way. So what we'll want to do about that is we're going to change up the way that this behaves. And we'll want to do... we'll want to do self.collides. Because it uses this, which does that. Oh, let's see if any of this works. I mean, I need to check the console. That's concerning. Doesn't print anything. Collision pair. Okay, so now it's none. And it is still none. Okay, let me also print the collision objects dictionary. Up. There we go. Oh, the dictionary is empty. Oh, I didn't set it to collide. I didn't set any of these things to actually collide. Let me just do self dot. Wait, no, this actually takes whether it should collide or not. Okay, that's a lot of info at once. Okay, let me just not print everything. Let's do that. Okay, now it's colliding with something. It's colliding with itself. Ah, that's a problem. It's able to collide with itself. Okay. Okay, so the object. Okay, that's actually really good. So let me just see what happens if I print the first thing that it returns. It's okay. That's good. 0 is okay. Wait, hang on. If collision pair and collision pair, not collision pairs 0 equals self. Of course, and not is the same as doing not equals. So let's see. Perfect. Not perfect. It's not detecting any collision between these two now. Okay. Let's do this then. Collision pair 0 and self. Okay, I have to stop that now and look. Okay, so that's nice. Let me show you what I'm seeing. There. So this here is the console. And this is the results that I'm getting. I'll just put those there. Yeah. So this is the results that I'm getting from the print. And these two are the same as far as I can tell. So that's the player object. It's at that location. That's the memory address. And that's the same memory address. So if those are the same memory address, right? They should return true. Because here we're checking if they are not the same. So if self which is this, and the first thing that we get from the collision pair, if they are not the same, we want to trigger this. And at the beginning, we check if the collision pair exists. So when they collide with the point, it should also... No, it should oh God, it should print this, which it doesn't. Okay. There's a few things that I can think of. Well, actually, the collision objects. Let's try this first. Up. Off we go. Yeah, it's returning both of them. It's returning both the point and the player. Which means it should go. Okay, so we had a collision. And the collision was not the player themselves. Then we should do this. All I can think of is it doesn't detect collision between the two, which wouldn't make sense. But it really seems like it does not detect collision between the two objects. Let me draw the rectangles. How would I go about that? Pygame dot draw dot rect. Self dot rect. Color. White. Whoops. And what else do you want? Oh, you want, right, okay. You want the self.rect last and the screen first. So we're going to draw a rectangle, a white rectangle on top of all the collision collision boxes. When these two boxes overlap, it should go, okay, those two are colliding. Oh. Another issue, it doesn't return anything but the one thing that it's constantly colliding with. It returns only one thing that it collides with every time, so it can at no point collide with two things at a time. Which means that we would just have to exclude the player themselves from the collision objects list, so make a new copy of that and exclude the player from that copy. So collision list, and then let's see. I forgot the method for removing it. Pop. Ah, right, pop. Removes the element with the specified key. Okay, well that should be easy. You can just do collision objects dot pop self, because it is under the self key. And then we just need to check in that. Now we should... It should throw an error. I thought coding looks like keyboard tac tac tac, but it's actually think problem solve delete and think. Yes, that is largely programming. Programming is largely about thinking. There's more thinking than actually typing. So collision objects dot pop self. Now it thinks that it's not a dictionary anymore. But I am fairly certain that it in fact is a dictionary. So what we can do then to assure the program that it is a dictionary is just force it to believe it. What? Okay, you know what? That doesn't make sense. Sure, okay. Because the pop returns something and we were trying to convert something into a dictionary. Instead, we want to do this then. Make sure that that is now a dictionary. Oh, come on. Cannot convert dictionary update sequence element 0 to a sequence. Collision objects is equal to a dictionary. Sorry to distract you, but you talk really good. Oh. Thank you. Dictionary. Turns a list of all values. Pop item. Removes the last inserted key value pair. Keys items. Get the value. Copy. Copy loop. Remove items. Pop. Yeah, I know that we can use the pop method to remove the item with the specified key name. So what I would have to do, well, what would I have to do? Collision objects dot pop self. Okay, I'm gonna just have to print. Let's print the COBJS and huh? Okay. How about we convert it into a string, convert the self into a string and then try? No. collision objects dot pop. It just gives me a key error. It doesn't give me anything but a key error. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to print the whole collision objects list. I mean dictionary, not a list. Okay, my guess is that we would actually want to assign... but that's not really possible now, is it? Can we... Okay, that's a built-in. And I think we can convert something back into an object from a string. We'll see. So I'm gonna convert this into a string and pass it into the dictionary with the value of the rectangle of the self. So that way it might actually be changeable. We might be able to actually change it. So we can do collision objects dot pop. No, sad face. Pops str self. And then we're going to try printing the objs. And it does not work. Just gives me a key error. Why does it give me a key error then? Why does it give me a key error? So if that doesn't work, then we might as well not do it that way. Huh. So... let me see. We should be able to use the pop method to remove the item, but it gives me a key error. Why does it give me a key error then is the question. Lookup error exception and denotes that there was an issue retrieving the key you were looking for. Is an exception that occurs when an attempt is made to access an item in a dictionary that does not exist. The dictionary does exist. The item supposedly does not exist in the dictionary. Okay, then I'm gonna do this. Collision objects dot kiss and stealth. So this will print into the console every key in the dictionary and also the self. The self being the player object. This... Okay. Well, then that's funny. It's one of those times when it just doesn't make sense. I'm gonna loop through the dictionary. Collision objects. If x equals self, print self is x. And it is printing self is x. And if we do self is not x, yeah, stop and rerun. Self is not x. Well, in that case, we might just have to do that. But if we're going to loop through all the collision objects, we might as well do a check for each of them and make a tuple of the objects that it collided with and return that tuple. Which would actually be an enhancement compared to the collide ticked method. Though this is more resource, not resource efficient. This would be more resource efficient. Okay, I'll do it as a hotfix. If I figure something else out later, then I'll go with that. But now then, what we'll do is self dot collide equals self dot rect dot collide rect. So it takes just another rect and wait, x loop dictionaries. Explain. It should give me the value as well, which would be the rectangle, right? Rect y. So this should be the rectangle. This should be the object. And then we're going to print those collide. So it should print true. Cannot unpack non-iterable player object. Non-iterable player object. Okay, then in that case we're going to try this. Is it the same error? Too many values to unpack. Okay. Then I have another solution. Instead of having a y there and having this be converted to a string, if x is not equal to self, rect x rect equals what's the method for that again? We need to get the value of a specified key, which would be, okay, this is concerning me now, so collision object self. That might not work. Correct. Yeah, well, it's now printing true constantly. Okay, let's also print x and self. Hold on. I'm looking at the console right now. I'm trying to figure out what exactly this means. Because it basically gives me two identical objects. I swear, if that returns true, no, if that returns false, I'm gonna be at a loss. No, it seems to return true. That then should return. Hold on, I need to rethink this. So we are calling the collides, self.collides dynamic. Oh. To update, then runs to update on the player, And to update then runs the self.collides. The self.collides loops through all collision objects. If the X, which is the current item it is looping through, is not equal to self, so the player object, no, that's the point, the player object, then we get the X rect collision. Oh. That works. Did I do the same thing? Did I do the same thing with the other method? Is that what I did? Is that, hold on. Let me just see collision pair, collision objects, key self. Okay, let's see. Equals can I copy the dictionary? Okay, returns a copy of the dictionary equals collision objects dot copy. Okay, and then we want to remove from the COPJS self. I just actually noticed that it, yep. So it actually takes in two selves. And now the collision actually functions with that as well. Well, I feel stupid. Okay, now we just need to return the collided objects, which well, yeah, the collided object, only the collided object. And then, well, what we want to do is we're gonna assign collided objects here, that if collided objects print collided, did you collide with at the start? What on earth did you collide with at the start? Oh, it's because this isn't actually initially created at the correct position. This actually starts in the position of the player. So what would happen if we removed the points right away, which I just realized I haven't actually implemented removing an object. Let me make that function real quick. Def remove self. What we want to do is we want to pop it from the collision objects. What? What? Dot pop self. Self. Because pop takes two selves. It takes self by default, and then it takes the actual value. Oh, this is insane. Self, and then what we want to do is self del self. So we actually delete the object, so the object no longer exists in a memory address. And we don't want to have any other references to it then. How come it didn't get deleted? Didn't get deleted. If it doesn't get deleted, I mean, even if it doesn't get deleted, it should. Oh, wait, hang on. Game objects, not that. Oh, well, what do we actually want to pop from it? Game objects, what do we insert into it? Append self. Self? Don't we... What do you mean? Oh. We don't have the index. We can actually store that in here. We can store that as self.uid equals length of the game objects list before it is added into the list. UID standing for unique ID. So then we just remove self.uid, and that probably won't. Yeah, it doesn't remove it from the collision objects. So we need to pop that from there as well then. Pop self. Because this takes self and this takes two selves. Then let me just not draw the collision boxes. Okay, well, that doesn't function. I'm not calling the remove anywhere. That's why. Oh, I'm smart. Oh, I'm so smart. Oh, I am so smart. Print collided. Collided object dot remove. And that's exactly as I expected, because it doesn't start at this position, it starts at the same position as the player, which means that we kind of have to pass it a start pause. The start position, that is, and we're gonna default that to pygame.math.vector 2 0 0. Now the 0 0 would be exactly where the player starts by default. And as you can see here, that's that. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, we don't have an old position. Right. Then we'd want to give the point a start position. So just take that from there and pass it that. Has collision true, position equals that, or start position equals that. Okay. Pygame.math vector2. It creates a vector2 with some random attributes. It should set the position automatically to that. And it shouldn't use this, because this is just the default if no start position is passed. Let me just, like, you know, make sure that we keep it that. Nope. It's still collided. Oh. But at the very least, we have the collision checking pretty good now. So in theory, we could start like adding walls and such. But I'm not gonna do that because I need to get this to function. So this creates a random vector 2. And we pass it to the position object. Start position is equal to Pygame, the math, the vector 2. 0. Okay, I'm gonna make this. Wait, that's still gonna. What? This just that. How does that? How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Just changing the start position shouldn't change anything else about it. Whoa. Okay. I what? Because like this is the default start position for all of the objects. How? Wow. Up. Okay. That. Okay, how... I mean, it works. It 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 works. It works if I set this to 32. Okay, well, I mean, the 32 is the size of the images. Each image is 32 by 30. The player is 32 by 32. The point is 16 by 16, which is why they do not collide, because the point is smaller. But how does that still make any sense? Because they would still start at the exact same position. I don't know how that works. Like, we even pass it the new start position. Do we need to update? Oh, we're not updating the rectangle to match the position. That's what it is. In fact, we don't actually blitz the image onto the screen at all. But we make a rectangle for it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Rect equals self dot image to get rect. Then I suppose we would also update it there just by doing this. And then if I make this 0, it should work. It works. What's the time? Okay. So now we have the collision system functional and good at as well at that. Now if we just add some points, you can just imagine it. You can just imagine it, yeah. We can actually delete this because we're not utilizing it. We're not utilizing that either, and we're not utilizing these. Software index, we're not utilizing that either. And that's it. Okay. So the points don't actually need to do really anything. Except we do need to set the image. Self.image equals loaded images point.png. Let me just make sure that that does exist. Yes, point.png does exist. Let me also draw a new sprite for the point because the current one is bad. I'm not gonna say that this new one is going to be any better, but it'll be something. Yeah, that's largely just that just does not look right. Maybe that's fine. We'll export it as point.png. Yep, and yep, and yep, and yep, and it crashed. Why? Okay, then I forgot something. Oh, right, it doesn't need the file extension. And point doesn't actually exist. I thought I didn't click on it, but apparently I did. Okay, so now it works. And we can actually do however many of these we want. Like, we could make a new one every frame, but I doubt we would want that. let's just make a quick counter. Let's see, let's say every what 120 frames spawn another one. So counter plus no plus equals 1. We'll do if counter equals 120, then counter equals 0 and point. Yep. Okay, that looks a bit odd when you don't give it an image to begin with. You know, it has to separately load the image. Okay, and it crashes when you touch the second one. Why is that? Pop index out of range. Ah. Okay, we would have to update the UID of it every time. Every frame, probably. Len UID, software UID. Okay. Well, I mean, the UID is really just used for removing the objects from the game objects list. So we can actually find a way around that. It's a list. Let's see, list methods, count extend index. Returns the index of the first element with the specified value. So really what we can do is game objects dot index takes the value. The value is equal to self. Well, let me guess. It wants 2 selves. No, it doesn't. Okay. That should work, I hope. If we try 1, 2, 3, and we can successfully eat the very flashy points. I know exactly how to fix that though. I just need to give it a default image, a new default image. So what I need to do is give this the option to pass an image. let's say as the third parameter. Let's call it placeholder. And then what we can do is that. And now self.image is equal to loaded images image. And image will default to placeholder if you don't assign it any. Or pass it any, that is. And then that's fine because it's not something that's constantly being made. But when it comes to the point, we want to actually give it the point image right here. And now it'll appear without flashing. Beautiful. We don't have any score yet, we don't have any maze yet, we don't even have any enemies yet, but we have a base for the game. Like, this is really important because now I can actually, what I can do is I can make another class, call it wall, make it inherit the position object, and do that, do the super dot init, and then we'll want to pass through to this. Oh, I just realized this actually needs to check if it's a point which it collided with, not just like anything, because if we make it so it can collide with walls and it'll basically eat the wall, that's gonna be kind of funny. We don't want to eat walls now, do we? I do also need to play the animation, so let me do that as well. Let's see. So this is gonna have self.frame count 0, frame underscore count. And then what we do, the update method, because the update method is ran every time, what we do is if self.frame count equals 10, so every 10 frames, if self.image equals loaded images player 1, then self.image equals loaded images player 2, else self.image equals image equals loaded images player 1. And then we reset the frame count, so self.frame count 0. And we increase self.frame count by 1 every frame. So that's the animation done. Now I'll have to do the wall. I'll worry about the wall later. Oh, that's not working. That ain't working. I think I know the problem. I believe I in fact do know what the problem. So self.image equals self dot old data. Wait, no. We need to check if the self to old data is not equal to the current data, and we need to update the old data to the current data. Ooh. God. Okay, so if self dot old data, no, old data image not equal to self dot image. Oh. Oh, we'll have to do loaded images. Not equal to self.image. Then we'll want to change that. Jesus. Old data, self.old data. Self.old data. Oh gosh. We want to change the image, so the self.image. But what? Hold on. Now hang on. If we were to just change the image, if we were to just change the image, so what actually happens is the so we assigned image. So rotate self.image, rotation difference. Hold up. It software image. So if we update the image, if we update the image, like right here, I mean, like right here, we update it to player 2. Are we getting any errors? No. Okay, so then... That's really odd. Okay. Um... Huh. I suppose we would need to... We would need to have a different property for applying a new image. It should just work. I'm trying to think, why exactly is it doing that? So we have the self.image here, which is by default at start assigned to that, which defaults to placeholder if we don't pass an image. Then if we... Okay, if we assume that the image changes between frames... all of these just take the image. Ah, gosh. Could it be that when we change the image, this or this changes it back to the old... Wait, no, not that. This or this or this changes it back to the old image. How does that work? I mean, it could be the case. Because it does update the image multiple times. And we really should... I suppose we'll have to have like a new image property. Yeah, I suppose we'll have to have like a new image or current image property. Like, I don't... I'll have to do like a print between all of these. print self dot image. And this is gonna print a whole lot really fast. After flip. Before flip. After rotate. And after split. Okay, so this should give us more info on what's actually happening. And that doesn't actually give us anything. Why it doesn't give us anything is because, well, I mean, it doesn't actually give us data. I mean, the name. It doesn't give us the name of the image. It just gives us some data. Whoopsie. If I then print loaded images, I get, or hang on, is it get? It's a dictionary. Get. No, that gets that gets a value, and we need the key from the value, not the value from the key. So we want returns a copy of the dictionary, removes all elements from the dictionary, returns a dictionary with the specified keys and values. Get the value, items, keys, pop item, set default, update, values. I suppose we should have like an image name then, which we can update. Loaded images, image. Can I do loaded images? Can I just do like image dot? Oh, I can do index, format, split, capitalize. What? These appear to be string methods, which is not what I am looking for. Self dot image dot get rect, split, copy fill, get blah blah blah. At bit size. Is there a way to return the file location? Is there a way to return the file location from an image? Surface. We're not actually converting it right now. That should be fine. I mean, we can assign it to just the image which we get from here. And that would be like the starting image. Currently also this this doesn't have the best functionality. This has collisions property, but we'll update that later at some point. Soft position, velocity works fine. Image, transform, rotate. Okay, what if we update the image with the image name every frame? So we do image self.image equals image self dot loaded images self.image name. We'll see how that goes. If self.image name, oh god, name equals player 1, which it's not assigned now, is it? It's not assigned. I guess we need to give it a name at the beginning. The image, when the image is changed. Okay, how about we stop changing the image itself and instead we change the image name. Soft image, oh goodness. And we'll try it. Oh my god, it actually functions somewhat. Huh. That's funny. That's real funny. I mean, like, we are switching between the frames at an appropriate rate, but there are some issues, like none of these are actually being applied now. Oh. And we're loading it every frame. So we just keep switching the image, which causes the image to not be rotated properly and flipped properly. Okay, how about I do this? That is not a solution. Okay. Sort of image. In that case, we would want to check if the image has changed. Then again, like, we're not able to, for some reason, we're not able to change, we're not able to rotate and flip it properly. when we change the image from the first image to the second image. Wonder why that is. Because like we set the image here at the beginning. Then we set we check if it's flipped, we check if it's flipped on the x-axis, and then we assign the self image again to this, so we're flipping it, and oh god. Then we do the same on the Y. And we do things with the rotation difference. And then we assign the image again to the same image, but rotated. Is this gonna break everything? Okay, no, it's not. That's good. That's good at the very least. Image. Transform the rotate self to image. I mean, like, even though the image is changed, it doesn't recognize that it's been changed. So do we just need to do this? Well then. Well, now it at least doesn't have that glitchiness going on, but it also, you know, it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything anymore. Yeah. I really thought that it would just work if we were to first apply the image. But it doesn't seem like it. Let me actually see. When do we? Oh, that's the problem. So we actually need to change the image before we update it on the super, and that doesn't change anything. Really thought I was onto something. Huh. Hmm. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna remove that. We're going to remove the image name. And then we're going to move the super to update to the very bottom. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't work any better. Okay. Well, at the very least, I'm gonna just remove those. At the very least, we have all the basics functional. We can rotate the player. We can spawn in points and we can eat up the points. We can spawn in various objects easily now, hopefully, still. And I'm gonna try to fix up the animation playing system. Maybe even make a class for animation player. I don't know. Before next stream, that is, I'm gonna try to fix those up before the next stream. But we've been going on for a good while. I don't know when I always drop 87 frames during the stream. I don't know, that just happens so randomly. However, next stream, I don't know when that is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or when. So I don't know, but I do know what it's going to be about, though. Or at least I hope I know. I believe that during the next stream we're going to be returning to the Godot game, the Marshmallow speedrun game, because I've been building up some ideas. I've been improving on game design, and the game design I think is very important. But also I'm gonna start worrying less about how the games end up being, because it's forever going to be a learning experience for me. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. Thank you for not being here. And I'll see you whenever I stream next. Bye.